From Svitek comes a weekly digital series where he shares his insights, concepts, and findings learned during his 15-year journey of working in the entertainment industry. Each lesson offers you a roadmap to overcome the challenges that all artists face on the path to success. Welcome to a Svitek podcast.
Hello, I'm Phil Svitek, 360 creative coach, and it's been a while since I had my friend Khaliel on as a guest. And I figured this was an apropos time because we're both quarantined, and we've been kind of catching up together. But it would be nice to connect on a more global scale, if you will, because you've got some exciting news. During this whole quarantine, you came out with a show. Now, you didn't produce the show during quarantine, but it is available to binge during quarantine. So tell us about it,
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, I made a little web series, and same kind of thing. I got a crew together, got a group of my friends, and said, "Hey, I got this idea." And so we did it, we put it together, and then I just kind of went out to whoever would listen and be like, "Hey, I got this show, I got this idea," until finally somebody did, and now. Through a couple revisions and a couple format changes, it is now called Blocked, and it is available for viewing on revolt.tv/blocked.
That's awesome. And I know, everyone thinks first off, knowing you, mm-hmm. This is a process, but it's not like you're just sitting on your ass and just pitching this show. You're doing other things. And then you get this idea that, okay, we essentially sell the show, but it's the typical entourage thing where it's like you sold the show, but there's still plenty of steps still left, right?
Oh man, so many. So so I can kind of walk you through it. So we pitched maybe June, July, August, somewhere around there. It gets fuzzy, but yeah, we pitched around there, and then kind of didn't hear anything. So I kind of put it in the bag with all the other pitches, so to speak. And then one day I get a call, and they're like, "Hey, we really liked your idea. We're going to pick it up." Okay, great. That's amazing. So we're celebrating, and then at that point, that's kind of like. I don't want to say the real work begins, because it's all like a lot of work. But yeah, we did that. And then, so the next step was deals are different. So our deal was that we would produce the show ourselves. So with that being said, the next step was, okay, well, how are we going to do that? We had to address the notes that we got from the network, and that too. Like, how are we going to address those notes? How are we going to pull this off? Let's come up with an action plan, and get going. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that helped at all, but
no, it did. It's definitely a process. At what point did you allow this to kind of truly sink in, or was every victory a mini celebration?
Yeah, I think it didn't really sink in until I signed. When I signed the contract and sent it in, and I had this legal tender of jargon that says, I'm got my idea on this platform. I think that's when it really sank in for me.
Mm-hmm. Got it. That's awesome. And so the series is 8 episodes, correct?
Yep, 8 episodes. Revolt.tv/.
We're in quarantine, so we got dogs. Hey. They were just telling you how much they love the series, is what.
That's great. That's the kind of reaction I want when someone hears about it. That's actually exactly what I look for. Loud barking.
Good, good. Yeah, it's sexy singles shooting their shot, essentially, right? Is
Yeah,
that an
yeah.
accurate description?
We got a group of comics, and they're shooting their shot at some sexy singles and then those singles then choose who they would block.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's a couple different. Everybody has their own techniques and approaches. Like some people try to be funny, some people try to be sweet, some people try to say the worst possible thing they could think of, the best possible thing of. There's really no rules. It's whatever you think will get this other person on your side, so you don't be chosen as the loser.
So now that the show's out, what has been the reception like? Like, are you able to gauge it beyond just immediate friends and family?
Yeah. So I haven't. So it's only tomorrow will be a week, and that's when I'm expecting to get like official analysis from the network and stuff like that. But as of right now, it's really just been friends and family, and everybody's like super excited, super happy, super proud, um, super positive. They think it's really funny. So yeah, the reception's been great.
Yeah. Do you think like ultimately like it's a very weird time and who's to say like anything, but do you think it's like it came out at a good time or like you know what I mean? Like obviously it's a very like hypothetical, but
Yeah, I think it definitely. Yeah, I think it came out at a good time because everybody's home,
mhm.
so you know. Yeah, I don't know. I can only really speak for myself, but I've kind of gone through all of my shows at this point. Like I don't have anything else to binge watch, and so now I'm just watching random things that I would never watch.
Mhm.
So hopefully my show is one of those for somebody else, and hopefully they enjoy it and share
Yeah.
it with their friends.
Yeah, well, that kind of begs a question in that regard because, like, obviously, like now in these uncertain times, um, like, what were your expectations for this show? Like, was it just to like just the fact that you sold it? It's on Revolt.tv. Like, we're good type of thing because, like, I look at it now, and if you put your stock in all these external things, I imagine you would be losing your hair. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
pun contended.
yeah. It really, when I was making it, it was really just about making it the best thing I could make it, and making it and making sure I did my part that people could enjoy it. And so I feel like I accomplished that. So in that regard, yeah, in a way, it is done because I put my best foot forward, and I have a product that I'm proud of, and now I'm just hoping people enjoy it.
Mhm. Awesome, awesome. Well, congrats on that. I do want to switch gears into something else
Sure.
because, um, we there's a commonality between you and I,
Hmm.
and one of the aspects being like, we always like to work on new projects and things like that. And so I want to ask you, like, when you approach a new project, is it daunting to the same level as before, or do you have a certain confidence like, okay, now like I've done something before, like I can do this again? Or it's like, because for me I'm at a point of like, can I repeat myself? Like, can I
Yeah,
achieve the same level that I did before?
yeah. I was gonna say, in a way, it is kind of daunting because it is kind of like, especially if depending on what you went through to complete said project, you're just kind of like, man, that was tough. I barely made it. I don't know if I can do it again. Um, but there's also that just that drive and that excitement to do another thing and to like create and to have a thing to be like super proud of and to put out into the world. So I think that's what I think that emotion overpowers the daunting fears or responsibilities or anxieties of starting a new project.
Hmm. So for you, like Spider-Man 2 is like now your next like baby that you want to go after, right?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It was with the quarantine, I had a lot of free time on my hands, so I got to writing, um, and so that is one of the silver linings of this pandemic, is that it helped me focus on, you know, things that I was procrastinating on.
Hmm.
And yeah, now I'm just kind of in the early pre-planning stages, like doing little test shoots, um, at home by myself, um, looking at all things that I would need: people, locations, equipment, all different, with all different kind of things, and just seeing, you know, if could this happen again? Could we do it? And if so, how?
Got it. And for clarity for people, if you're new to me and Khaliel's work, we're talking about Black Spider-Man. So season 1 of Black Spider-Man, where it's a parody type of series, web series, where the world discovers Spider-Man is really black, and it's a kind of a cultural commentary among being funny and other things as well. So season 1 was successful. Now potentially a season 2.
Yeah, it definitely. The funny I did get a couple of, I don't know, that project just personally for me was like life changing, because although I only got maybe a few small things directly from that project, it opened a lot of other doors, indirectly, because people saw that and saw me in a different light, and saw my capabilities, and was like, oh, okay, this guy, I can call him for this or this or this, and he can get it done. And that was huge. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really make anything off of it directly. It did do a lot for me indirectly.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Awesome. Well, what is the writing process like for you ultimately? I'm always very curious. Like this might be a very selfish question, but for me,
quarantine. That is the writing process for me. I need to be quarantined. I need everybody else to be quarantined, and then I need to sit and go through all of my shows,
mm-hmm.
and then I'm ready to write, because there's absolutely nothing else left for me to do. No, man, no. All jokes aside, I mean, that's kind of part of it, honestly. But all jokes aside, what happens is I'll like either see something, or like through conversation or through just daydreaming get an idea for something, and that'll be like the inspiration, and then the next thing that happens is curiosity. Like, how do I make sense of this? How do I make it work? How do I flip this into something? And then it's kind of trial and error, and it's also a lot of research. So looking at other examples of people who successfully did something similar to what I'm trying to do. There's a lot of that happens, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of the process.
Yeah. No, it's interesting that you kind of say that. I mean, when you say examples, like, is it more of a technical perspective, or are you talking about story perspective? Because
Everything is from the way you tell the story to how you tell a story, like all the information that's necessary for this plot to make sense, tone, look, characters, location, like literally every single aspect. I'm like, oh, well, where would this happen? How would they sound? How would they say it? What is the vibe or the tone of this moment? Like all
mm-hmm.
of that. So I can, because I don't like to, like, I can't like write something if I don't mentally see it. And then a lot of times I'll kind of see it. as far as, and this could be a scene, this could be a character, this could be the entire scope of the series, and kind of seeing it doesn't work for me. Like I have to really see the whole entire thing cut for cut, and then I'm like, okay, cool. Now this makes sense. This is good. I got it figured out. And so that's where, and like I said, that's where like a lot of research goes into play.
Do you have like a notebook you write all this stuff down in? Like how do you, or do you just literally just watch all the on the phone? Yeah.
Yeah, it's my phone. And then I got this app. It's connected to the cloud. So if I ever break my phone, I haven't lost my stuff.
What's the app?
The thing is called like Notepad or something. I don't know. It's like one of the notes apps.
Okay. Fair enough. So then second question, as far as that relating to story, you know, in order to see it, because like I was having a conversation with our friend Courtney Stewart, and, you know, I'm doing something similar for a project that I'm working on. And she was like, well, aren't you worried you're just going to like essentially repeat what they're doing? And I was like, well, for me, by seeing them, I can avoid the cliches. I know like what to not do, essentially. Not for like, I'm not, you know, from a technical standpoint, I'm learning what to do. But as far as storytelling and hitting the same beats, I'm learning of like, okay, here's the tropes that have been replicated millions of times. So let me not go in that direction. Or if I do, subvert it, you know? So how do you view it that way so you're not mimicking ultimately?
Right. And I think a lot of people get caught up in that because, you know, they're like, oh, I don't want to copy so-and-so or so-and-so. But at the same time, you know, there's like, you can't like reinvent the wheel. Like the wheel is the wheel and we're making wheels, you know, like it's like a chair. Like every person who makes a chair is not copying the last person who makes a chair. Like we know that a chair is we know what a chair is supposed to look like. But as long as it's coming from you and you're doing it, you know, kind of in your own way, in your own light and stuff like that. And then that is the creative part of it. And that is what makes it special to you, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. You know, one of the things I like about you, you're to me an eternal optimist. I don't know if you would agree with that or not. And I think what's that?
I said I get that from time to time.
Okay. And you know, I used to fall into the camp too of like, oh well, Khaliel's not literally you, but just in general, right? Using you as an example. Oh well, if he's this happy-go-lucky guy, like his life must be so damn good. And I've come to learn like that's not the case. Like I think happiness is a choice. And what I attribute a lot to you, like you have this thing where like you've made a choice to be happy, whereas like someone like me, I have to read like thousands of self-help books just to like get near that. You know. Well,
I think you are doing yourself a disservice because I think you're a lot better off than you're putting on. But yes.
Fair enough. I do tend to be a little bit self-deprecating, but I want to highlight that about you.
Appreciate it.
So why don't we talk about like a shared project we both worked on a movie called Idol.
I was gonna say if we don't talk about your movie, then
it's our movie ultimately.
I mean, you know, I'm in it for like 2 frames, but it's really
I don't think that's true.
Shining light. It's really like I was gonna say, like if we don't talk about this whole interview was not finished.
Fair enough. Well, you're in it more than just 2 frames. So you are like by billing purposes a lead character. I mean, I don't know. Like it's always interesting. Like, you know, at this point, I'm very much interviewing you, but I'm also very much in the process. So like, I don't know, just why did you choose to get involved? What did you see in the project? And then kind of like, you know, from expectation to reality.
I chose to get involved because I owe Phil a lot. So this was like the least that I still owe him, but maybe I put a dent in my bill with this. I don't know. We'll see. No. But it's also like there are several reasons. I mean, for one, it was that the director thought of me to play a role in his first feature. His first feature, right? That was his first feature.
For
okay,
me,
cool.
as far as like me having directed, and yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he thought enough of me to cast me for this role. It's his first feature. I've seen his work before, so I know he's totally capable, totally talented, and it's just it was one of those things where it's like, oh, I definitely want to be a part of this.
How much of it? How much of it was like, let me just see what the hell's even gonna happen? Because like, I know from certain people, they're like, okay, I want to be part of this project, but then like the stipulations keep getting added of like, hey, so we're gonna make this on no budget, we have no permits, and we're gonna shoot it in downtown, pretty much all of downtown LA, and it's gonna look good. Trust me. Oh, and we don't have a.
I was just about to. That was going to be my next point that I was going to make, was that I cannot praise Phil Svitek enough for the feat that is this feature, because of all the things that you just listed, like no permits, no real budget, no real crew in the traditional filmmaking sense. Not to say that people who worked on it weren't real, but just the bare bones of filmmaking that was this process. And then you're thinking, okay, well, yeah, it probably is not that good, right? But then you see it and you're like, oh wow, like you pulled this off with next to nothing. I don't have the words for how amazing that is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what about like the script? Because like the script was rewritten, I mean, many times, but for you, I think you saw like 3 rewrites ultimately. So I don't know. Can you even think back to that time?
I think I'm not sure exactly what your question is, but I mean that all felt like fairly normal to me, and like like let's do a couple fixes. They were like, as far as especially with my character, there wasn't really huge changes. Just a couple story things, couple character things, and make sure like everything made sense and stuff was clear. So like I said, the script was good. Again, from inception to execution, with the script, with the filming, with the editing, the feat that is this feature, given the tools that was used to make it, is really, I don't know what adjectives to use. Astonishing, amazing, mind-blowing, holy fucking cow. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, wow, this was like, wow, you did all of this with next to nothing. That's crazy. That's really, really crazy.
I appreciate the kind words, but I don't want it to just be like an ego boost for me. So let me prompt some things for you. So I remember, like, for you, you were very much like, you were like, like, just give me a moment to like memorize the lines and whatever. And then like, for some reason, like what I attribute, it's not that you didn't care, but I think you had this way about you where you just didn't overthink it. And therefore you actually, like, based on the test screenings, people just love your character and your acting because it's just so natural, I don't know. Can you talk about like, like your acting method as it may be?
This is not going to sound all that intelligent, but it's really just me trying to make stuff make sense to me. Like, why would you say this? Why would you feel this way? Why would you do this thing? Why do you want the thing that you're going after? All of those things. I mean, that's essentially what I think about for whatever role. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, what does this mean? And who am I? What does this mean to me? And how do I plan to go get it?
Yeah.
That's essentially the thought process.
Yeah. Is there a particular scene? Because you, unlike with everybody else, you actually got to interact with all of the characters in the movie. So I don't know. Do you have like a certain scene that you thoroughly enjoyed? Is there like any particular? Obviously, you work with some people more than others. Is there like, oh, I wish I got more scenes with this person?
I will say one of the things I'm probably most proud of, and this is a scene that I'm not even in, was the party scene.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun, and it was also like, it was one of those things where I kind of went in not knowing exactly how this was going to work, and then got into the groove of it and started figuring things out as I was going along, and it was like, oh yeah, this is going to work now. This is going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's an integral scene. And I remember, I mean, there's essentially a climax that happens between two characters, and I had no involvement in it whatsoever. Not from the picking of the shots, not from the directing.
Right.
And I believe it was you that did like this wonderful shot that just tracks, and it ends up being like a 30, if not 45-second shot. And I was like, ooh, this is too good. I can't cut on this.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad I was useful.
You were more than useful, yeah. It's funny also, like, so there was the day, I think this was like the second day that we were shooting, although I should use the word filming instead of shooting, 2020. We were filming, and you had to get like a hat for a later night scene. So you and Anthony Becerra go off. Now, you guys decide that you're hungry. See, I found out about this. You guys decide that you're hungry, so you guys stop off at whatever place you guys stop off at. Come like maybe like 20 minutes late, and we were missing.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
We were missing magic hour. Y'all thought like I was just being stringent on time. I was like, no, we have like a window for magic hour. Now, talk about miracles. The fact that we made that scene look-wise, because like at a certain point, once you miss the sun, it's starting to look all kind of janky. But it actually came out good. I remember.
I will not confirm or deny any of the alleged allegations made against me in this video.
Tony already confirmed it.
I don't even know a Tony.
No. Any other fun stuff? I remember on that second day, like you and Chloe West, you guys bonded over like Mr. Bubblegum.
Beyonce. It was Beyonce.
It was Beyonce. No, but
wait.
You guys like recited the entire like Mr. Bubblegum song. That shake that Laffy Taffy.
Okay, yeah. I was like, Bubblegum? Yeah, Laffy Taffy. Yes, we did. Yes. Yeah. That was memorable. I also remember walking around all of downtown because some people don't know their east and their west and their north and their south. And I got a blister on my foot, and my shoes broke that day. But it was, we got a nice feature out of it, so it was worth it. I'd do it all over again.
I remember, well, I don't feel bad about that because I wasn't the one leading you. I remember I was on a conference call trying to like pretend that I was still at my job, quote unquote. And so I couldn't like, and I just like turned to Anthony. I'm like, get us to the mall. And so once again, Tony, and God bless his heart, he just made us walk around every which way. And it got to the point where then you like only wore your actual shoes for takes, or even in takes, you were like, if we're not seeing my shoes, let me not wear them. I remember there was this one shot.
The lesson.
And I turned down, and there's Khaliel in flip flops. I'm like, well, I guess we're not using that shot for this. But we got around it. A lot of happy accents. A lot of happy accents.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
all
what
right.
happens when you're doing something positive, man. That's what happens.
Yeah. And you got to
Stuff just
look
works
for it.
out.
You know, you got to
Huh?
look for it. You got to have the
Yeah.
spirit.
Yeah.
You got to have people willing to kind of go on that journey. So,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
how's quarantine lifestyle?
Quarantine lifestyle was the first week was fun. The first week was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I had a full fridge. I had a full bar. You know, I was just taking time to myself. I was writing, was watching all of my shows. It was great. Week two, I'm over it. I'm done. I had to go grocery shopping today. It was a very scary experience. They were only letting like 10 of us in at a time. People had the mask on, like they were scared to like even look at you. Like, yeah, no, this sucks. This is terrible.
What's the percentage of soberness to drunkenness overall?
I think I've probably drank twice
Okay.
since the whole quarantine. So I'm not like a big drinker like that. I was really like really what happened was people online, friends of mine online were drinking, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess I should do that because to me drinking means like going out. Like, oh, we're gonna go out, we're gonna
Like
drink, have
are you
fun.
doing the happy hour thing, or just like like you just saw posts and you're like, oh, I should drink too?
I just saw a post and oh, I should drink too. It's not that. Yeah, exactly. That's what happened.
Got it. Right on, right on. But then you quickly realize like maybe I should be a little bit sober.
Well, here's the thing. If I'm going to drink at home, then I at least feel very safe. Like, what's going to happen? I'm home. I'm just going to fall out on my couch. Like, it's okay.
One would hope.
The worst thing that could happen is I would eat all my food because I do get drunken munchies,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's not safe. That's not good. That's not safe for anyone. Um, but yeah, no. Again, I'm not like a big drinker like that. So I did it like once and had a hangover the next day and was like, yeah, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. Right on. Well, I don't know. Any sort of, I don't know. Are you hopeful overall? I mean, it seems like you're relatively calm in this
Yeah,
storm.
yeah. Well, I just feel like panicking is not going to do me anything, and then there's also nothing I can do. You know, like I don't know. Um,
I mean, yes and no. I mean, if you don't add to the panic, that's doing
yeah,
something.
that's the only thing I can do, and that and stay in the house. So I don't know. I'm hoping that you know, they're saying like May now. So Jesus, whew, I'm
I mean,
hoping
that
it's
is my guess, by the way. My guess is like mid-May as like a realistic answer. At least that's what I'm mentally preparing for.
so long. It's so long. Yeah, so I'm just hoping we figure it out before then. Um, there is no going back to normal. There is no like we will have to create a new norm. I think hopefully this will open our eyes as a global society to being ready for plagues and pandemics like this or like others that could potentially happen and um and also like just revamping people or careers that we just didn't take seriously before, such as grocery workers
Yeah.
and UPS guys and stuff like that, like stuff that we just really like just did not. That was like, oh, you're gonna bag groceries, okay, whatever. You're gonna work at McDonald's, and now you're the only people allowed to work. Everybody else is non-essential.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to be a serious like a serious change needs to be made there too.
Well, in some sense, do you feel like the longer this goes, the more that change will stick versus like if this thing, were to, I don't know, blow over next week?
Honestly, this might sound very negative, but I think it would have to get worse in order for something different to happen.
I'm kind of the mindset, like people really need to kind of really sit with it. And I know a lot of people are like losing their minds right now to varying levels.
Yeah.
And not that they're not entitled to necessarily, like I get it, we're all, and by the way, you and I are in pretty darn good positions, you know what I mean? And things like that. But I also know, like, I always like to look at it like there's always one move that you can make no matter what. And I was talking with our friend Daryl Kristen, and he tends to like hit the panic button sometimes. No offense to him, but I was like, listen, worst case scenario, you move in with your mom in Ohio. And he's like, no, I can't. I've worked too hard in LA and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, I'm not saying that's gonna happen. I'm just saying, like, let's LA breaks off and all of a sudden, it's floating down the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
You can always go back to Ohio. You know what I mean? Like there's always a solution if you just look for it. And I think when we're faced with problems like this, like I think there's that ability, as in this case, like a global community, to come together and be like, boom, here's what we're going to do. So that's what I choose to believe in.
Right.
Sorry, Daryl, for sharing your story. All right. Well, any other fun things you want to share while you have this captive?
Man, I'm just very grateful for the space and the platform and the opportunity to share my life, my experiences, my things that I got going on. I think you got a great thing going on here. I think you got quality quarantine content, like and it's a great way to like, keep producing, keep creating in the middle of a pandemic. Like this is great. This is perfect. So yeah, I'm just really appreciative to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm trying, and like for me, truthfully, like it's been like, what do I even put out? And then there's been a couple times where I'm like, whatever. Not because like I don't care, but sometimes like the immediacy of having friends and calling friends, I think right now it's like that's me practicing what I preach. And so to like just turn on a camera and like put something up on social media versus being there more directly on a deeper level for the people that are in my life, it would feel wrong if I wasn't doing that. So that's why right now I'm putting out some stuff, but not as much as I used to.
Yeah, something.
In the trenches of all things. So, but it's been fun, and we'll do this again when we come up with something else.
All right, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, and plug all your stuff. Revolt.tv/watch.
Revolt.tv/blocked.
Okay, blocked. So it has its own URL. Awesome.
It has its own URL, baby. We live, baby. Revolt.tv/blocked. 8 episodes. They're like 4 minutes. Go and watch them right now. We'll finish this and then go watch it.
Absolutely. And for more like just following you.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as following me, updates and stuff like that, my personal Instagram, Facebook's, Twitter's is Khaliel Abdelrahim, and then you can also visit our site at campproductions.com, camp with a K, campproductions.com, and then we'll always have whatever the new heat is, it'll be up there.
Right on. All right. Well, I appreciate your time, and hopefully this was as enjoyable for you as it was for me. And,
oh man, very.
Go subscribe. I've included all the links that Khaliel just shared in the description box, so for ease of access. Anyway, I know I'll see you next time, but as far as you, the listener, watcher, hope to see you next time as well. Bye.